Hello and welcome to MGP341. I'm Kevin. With me as ever, the Sheepdog, Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
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 Sheepdog, do you want to explain what just happened?
I was just happy to hear everyone.
You're delighted because it's Harry Potter Wizards Unite Day. Praise be to the Harry Potterness of everyone's favourite video game forevermore. Everyone's happy. Everyone's delighted. So that's why we're all cheerful. Finally, an AR game that we can all play.
Yeah.
Should we talk about that later? We can't get into games now. I know we're all excited, but Pab will be devastated if we don't talk about non-gaming stuff for 20 minutes before we get into the meat and veg of things. Isn't that
well,
right,
I mean, I think we're all knackered this week, judging by what Anna was saying.
What?
I'm not going to...
Anna's only tired because I finished streaming last night and then said, right, we're going out to play more of this game. And we got in at like 1 a.m.
Bless her. While you were streaming, she texted me to ask if I wanted to go for a drive. And I felt so guilty that I had to say no because I was in the middle of stuff.
Anna, you gave me such a lecture this evening for playing it while I was out on my own.
Yes, because... you know why? Because you spoil it. You actually spoil these games. That's why I don't play Pokemon anymore, because all you could go and go, oh, you're level 36, I'm level 40. So what's the point of playing?
Wow.
You play for your own enjoyment, not to compete with.
But then last night you were like, oh, I'm really enjoying playing with you, but then you want to go and spoil it. So
I like to spoil things.
Monster.
Exactly. So, games aside, stop talking about games.
Sorry.
This is the reverse problem. We've done 340 episodes and we've had the opposite of this problem. Why are you all being so disruptive this week and trying to get on topic too soon? I don't want us to get a reputation. If we go on topic immediately this week, we've got to do it every week from now on.
I was just going to explain I was knackered because I spent like my entire evening busting my backside to review a game that was fresh out this week, only to find it's embargoed till Tuesday next week. It's not out yet, so I can't talk about it, and I feel like an absolute plonker.
what game?
Well, if we talk about it now, the best thing to do, if we talk about it now, and Pab will just edit that section out and release it as DLC on Tuesday.
That makes perfect sense.
I want to know what's out on Tuesday.
Nothing big.
What's it called?
I can't tell you.
What does it start with?
It's embargoed.
I don't think the name of the game is embargoed, surely.
Yeah, I'll review it next week.
How cryptic.
It's not big at all.
Who's it by?
How's your week been?
It's not been announced yet. That's how
I just want
small
to
it
know.
is,
I'm so nosy. Oh, because I'm
It's Borderlands 5, Anna.
No, I'm dying for a game to play. I'm so bored. Like, yes.
you would... I can't say. I can't even say.
Yes, you can.
No,
Pab's going to edit it all out as DLC. It's fine.
I really know.
You're a monster, Pab.
Is it a game...
He can't tell you!
You can type it in the chat!
I'll WhatsApp you off air. You can't read it
just
out.
type it
Get
in the
excited
chat.
by this game.
And then
Your reaction will be like, who cares?
But then I'll know, and then I'll
glowing
stop.
review for it for next week.
No, because just because Anna really won't care.
Goodness me.
I'm so bored. Help me.
Right. Have we really got no non-gaming news to talk about? Have we got to talk about video games?
We went to see some films.
They're still vaguely on topic. I can't believe we're so excited about content this week. We can't even be random. I don't like it. We've just got to talk about Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Pab can't keep it in any
You
longer.
want to talk about it.
Pab is so excited about this game. He's done nothing. All he's been talking about before we started recording is how excited he is for Harry Potter Wizards Unite. Pab, why are you so excited about this game?
Wands? Wands. Is that wands is a thing you said, didn't you? I heard you talking about wands.
Yeah.
I wanted to know how big his wand was, but he wouldn't tell me.
Mine's 14 and a half inches long.
I didn't know you could do the size of your wand, so mine was previously 12 inches, but now it's 13 and a quarter.
See, that explains a lot. I went on my friend list and I was looking at how big everyone's wands were and how bendy they were, and everybody seemed to have a 12-inch bendy one. And I was thinking, what's going on here? Like, they've all got the exact same curve. Like, it's not... So
yeah, that's just the default.
Right, I see. Because there's some people on here with no names as well, where they've just defaulted and left their name
Because
empty.
when you're selecting your wand, it has the bits you see before you have to scroll are the wood and the core, and I didn't bother scrolling, and I imagine lots of people like me didn't think to scroll to see if there was more options further down the screen. But I now have a surprisingly swishy 13.25-inch unicorn hair dogwood wand.
See, mine's Elder Dragon, slightly springy, 9 3/4, because I thought that was basically the Harry Potter number.
I think you've probably been banned from playing the game because you've taken it too far. You've ruined it for everyone.
I've gone super meta, but it seems like, sadly, much like in real life, I've got the smallest wand out of everybody I know. It's just a curse. I thought at least somebody would go for a smaller one. I didn't want one too bendy. I didn't want to be like waving it at stuff and it just whips them in the eye or something. That'd be outrageous. I'm going to whip Hermione's eye out with my wand.
Well, once you go past bendy, you become swishy. So I'm swishy rather than bendy. Bendy is a thing of the past for me.
I was going to go for like an ultra rigid one. I thought, A, it'll just snap, and B, like, where's the fun in that when you're swishing it around? You want it to kind of flow, don't you? Ooh.
Depends. If you forget how to do spells, you could just start jabbing people with it. If I try and jab people with mine, it's just going to wrap round them.
But again, that's what I was thinking. Like, if I can't do a spell, but there's a lion coming at me, I could just whip it in the face with the ultra swishy one, and just lion tame it the old-fashioned way.
Well, I guess you've proved us all wrong there. Pab, what size wand have you got?
I don't have a wand.
How are you playing the game without a wand,
I'm not
Pab?
playing this game.
You truly are the most magic of us all, Pab.
Yes.
You're playing without a wand or the app.
Yeah. You were given specific instructions yesterday to download this game and join in the fun.
And you think I pay attention?
I think you should.
I don't pay. You check our Twitter thing. I rarely check it. You notice there's very few responses because
That's
I
a
can't.
lie.
Be
You were checking it at 10:30 last night for my Frogman.
No, that was just general Twitter. I don't check private messages all the time.
But we're always slipping into your DMs.
I know, and I ignore them.
I haven't left Pab's DMs for about 3 years.
I get
always
to about
ignoring
10 o'clock every night and I get my phone out and I slip into his DMs and I start sending him pictures of frogs jumping off buildings.
Well, today I've shared a picture of Dean with antlers with the three of you. Just because that's come up on Dropbox. I don't know why we have that picture, but we do. That's in the MGP archives. And a very stylish picture it is too. So let's get into talking about this game properly. We can't hold it off any longer. Harry Potter Wizards Unite is out. It came out Thursday evening.
Kevin didn't
Surprise! Well, it wasn't supposed to come out on Thursday. It was supposed to be out on Friday.
Yeah. When Kev started telling us all to get it, I was like, it's not out yet, Kev.
Well, Anna told me to get it, because where did you see that it was out, Anna?
On Twitter. I go into trending, see what's trending for the day, and that was one of them, so I downloaded it without telling you.
But if you do that too often, you start thinking that David Attenborough is dead because he trends far too often for a man of his age. I literally went on 10 minutes ago and thought he was dead, and I almost had to cancel this week's podcast so I could grieve a little. But he's alive and kicking. Someone just slagged him off on the telly or something stupid.
Excellent. We got it downloaded. Me and Anna then immediately went out for an exploration of how it all works, and it's there's a lot of it. There's a lot of game here. It was a little bit overwhelming because obviously me being me skipped over every single word of instruction. Thinking,
I don't know that you skipped over that much.
Go.
There ain't
It's
much.
Pokemon Go. I'll be fine. I don't need the instructions.
I don't think there are any instructions.
Oh, there is.
Oh, I've since gone back and watched them on YouTube. There's a lot of instructions. There's a lot of explanation of how stuff works. But the general gist of it, for those of you who haven't played it yet, the general gist, and Sheepdog will no doubt correct me when I'm wrong, because I still don't really understand some parts of it. What were Pokestops are now inns, and rather than spinning them, you have a bit of a munch in there.
That's a bit weird, isn't it? I feel weird about that one. Like, I just want to spin it on my way by, but I have to go in, swish my wand across the room, and then a plate appears, and then I munch on it, and then I move on. That seems way longer.
And weirdly, I noticed that if you try and leave before you finished eating, you don't get the credit for it. You actually have to sit there and eat. You can't just press the button, move on to the next one. you actually have to wait through the whole animation, or you don't get the wizard source or whatever it's called.
Niantic love that. They love making an overly long animation that you can't skip, like Evolution. You just sit there and watch the 1000th Rattata evolve for 35 seconds. It's so mind-numbingly stupid. But yeah, it's like they have no quality of life. I just as an aside here before we carry on, I went on the so I knew this would happen on Reddit. Pokemon Go has a thing called Sylph Road, and where it's like their research group where people hack the app to find out how it works, learn about it, help people understand the rules. There's a Wizards Unite equivalent where they talk about it and stuff. I forgot what I was saying. What were we talking about? Why was I cutting on to this? They were talking about it in there. What was I just saying? I'm just had a complete brain fart.
I was trying to explain the basics of the game, and you went off on a Reddit tangent, which doesn't seem appropriate at this stage of the discussion.
Yeah, no, it was something to do with what we... carry on, I'll get back to it in a minute. I've completely forgotten what I was saying.
So, in addition to inns...
I remembered now. People are already moaning on there about the quality of life stuff. That's what I was trying to say. Literally, you go on there now, it's all people saying they want better quality of life stuff. They want quicker loading. Like, they don't want to have to sit for 30 seconds. And the wizard energy running out.
Oh, yeah,
they're the two
hurts
things.
me.
Like, I get it, and we'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that once we've established the basics.
Go on.
So, there's inns. There's also these things that don't seem to have a direct Pokemon Go equivalent called greenhouses.
Field Fortress, you mean? Or fortresses?
No, the greenhouses. Have you not seen a greenhouse yet?
Maybe I did. Sorry.
A greenhouse is somewhere where you plant seeds, and you can go and water the seeds, and then it's like a group growing. So somebody plants seeds, everyone then contributes to watering it for a few hours, and then at some point it's like a group egg almost, because then the seeds grow, and then for a limited amount of time anyone who goes to that greenhouse can then profit from the seeds. But the downfall of that, as me and Anna found when we were in town, is you can obviously plant a seed, but unless you're going to be there 6 hours later back at the same place, you ain't ever seeing the spoils of your seeds. So greenhouses are a thing, which I'm not sure how I feel about them yet.
They could be like lures in a way, although you can benefit from a lure directly, and they exist in this as well, don't they? Lures, the eye thing.
And then we've got the fortresses, which I guess is the equivalent of raiding in Pokemon. And this is probably my favourite part of the game so far, the way fortresses work, because it's kind of raids on demand. Rather than the game telling you when you can go and raid, you can just go and do it when you feel like it. In fact, I'm looking now, it's 10:30 at night, and the fortress near me is still available to go and fortress about in. So that's quite nice that you can do that at any time of the day with whatever group size you want, decide on your own difficulty, and then get the appropriate rewards for it. So fortresses...
When I clicked on fortresses, they just gave me the food. I stopped at 3 fortresses on my way home, and it just said, eat the food and sod off.
What food?
I don't know how you're... I think you're clicking on inns, Sheepdog.
Like
I've got one next to the house. I'm looking at it. Yeah, the big tower things. It just offered me loads of plates of food in the net one.
That's an inn.
Yeah.
No, I know it's an inn, but I'm looking at a fortress. I think it must have just got weirded up, because I went to basically where a Pokemon gym is, and I was doing that, and then I switched apps, and it was the big massive fortress. I mean, I've got one next to my house. I mean, it's not close enough to use from here, but yeah, Jubilee Drive Fortress, and when I click it, it doesn't say anything. I don't really get it. There's something that says more care of magical creatures traces can be found here.
Oh, that's a flag. That's not a fortress.
No, there's a flag next to it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, because the flags kind of show where you can find the magical creatures. Because that's the one. That's another thing that's a bit of a difference from Pokemon Go. I've not had a single thing turn up at my house yet. They don't seem to They don't seem to randomly spawn everywhere. There's certain little pockets of location where stuff's going on, and there's not a lot going on anywhere else, so you do have to kind of go somewhere and play the game. But what me and Anna were finding last night is, because there's so much to do in the game, we would go to a location where if it was Pokemon, you'd perhaps have I don't know, a few Pokestops to spin, maybe a raid or a gym to do or something, and you'd be done in 5 minutes. We were spending 15-20 minutes on a spot doing all of the stuff that there is to do there with the catching all of the, what are they called, confoundable things?
Yeah.
Fill up your sticker book, and then doing the fortress, and maybe doing some inns, doing some planting of seeds, and then you're messing around with all the stuff you've just done, mixing up your potions, and getting your next set of, what, I can't remember what eggs are in this, what are they called? Port keys. Getting them sorted, levelling up your character, because that's the other big difference, I think, between this and Pokemon Go. In Pokemon Go, it's very much about getting your Pokemon to be super powered, whereas in this, you're not really collecting stuff as such. You are trying to fill in your sticker book, but it doesn't. I don't think you'd get excited about, oh, I got a Ron Weasley sticker, in the same way as you'd get excited about a certain Pokemon. It's more sort of RPG-y, and it's about leveling up your character, doing your lessons, and making your character better. So then when you go back to a fortress again, you can do a higher level of fortress and unlock more stuff that way. So it's kind of the same basic shell with a more of a gamey experience built on top of it, rather than a collectathon. So I'm really enjoying it. Like I say, me and Anna went out and played it at about 7:30 last night for an hour or so, and then I went and streamed, and then we went out again at, like, I don't know, 11:30, and we're out until about 1 a.m. and then we were playing it again this morning. Played a bit more this afternoon. It's really rather splendid. We're both up to level 8. We've both done up to is it a level 3 fortress we've done now?
Yeah.
So we can now access level 4 fortresses, but we need a third person for that, or level. We either need to recruit a third man, or level up our characters a bit before we can take on a level 4 fortress. And it's a lot of fun. Like I say, more gamey. I'm enjoying it.
What are the fortresses like? Because that's the only bit I've not done so far. Like I was going to say, the things you've said so far, I'm not sure how I feel about some of it. Like, where I live, I don't get anything on Pokemon, but I get a constant bombardment of things in Harry Potter, so I completely run out of dust and can't actually play the game. But I went to Tesco's earlier, and normally I walk to the front of Tesco's, I catch the 6 or 7 Pokemon that are in the doorway, and then I go and shop. Whereas this, I was walking around the whole shop still doing all the... There was like 30.
Anna properly told me off earlier, because I went to Tesco and didn't get out of my car for the first 15 minutes of getting there, because there was just, again, so much to do in Tesco car park. But there's nothing at all at my house. The fortresses are much more... It's much more of a game than doing a raid in Pokemon.
Because I'm not going to deny, raids are really stupid. I sit there doing raids. I'm like looking out the window. I'm chatting to someone. My thumb's just moving up and down at a rate of knots.
Basically, the way the fortress works is depending on the level of it. So if you're doing just a level 1 fortress, you'll have you can have up to 4 or 5 people, I think, come in and do it with you. But to complete the fortress, you have to beat, I think, 2 baddies for the level 1. And
but is that the same as what you do with a confoundable? Swish your finger.
Yeah, it's battling. Well, they're attacking you as well, so there's attack and defence to do. So it's like you take it in turns. You have a go at attack, you have a go at defence, and your health bar is going down all the time. But the way it adds a bit more game to it is as you get further through, because you've got your profession as well. Each different profession has different skills and different things they're good at. So I can't remember what it's called. I'm
zoologist,
a magizoologist, which means, amongst other things, I'm a specialist at fighting animals. So the beasts I'm better at, so you have to decide who's fighting what, but also I can heal other members of my party while they're fighting. Whereas Anna is an aura and will have a different skill that she can bring to the
I'm a
thing.
professor.
Well, there we go. So it sounds like you could be our third man, Sheepdog.
Yeah. I'm also level 7, so I'm not far off you.
Awesome. When we did the tier 3 one earlier, I think we had to defeat 6 baddies in the 5 minutes, and they were higher level ones as well. Whereas on the tier 1 fortress, it might be, I don't know, level 2 or 3 baddies that you can just basically sneeze on and kill. When we were doing this tier 3 one earlier, we had to defeat 6 baddies who were like level 22, 23. and we were using a lot of potions to power ourselves up, to heal ourselves, to using our special powers to heal each other, and we scraped through by the skin of our teeth. The first time we tried a tier 3 one last night, we got battered.
Well, no, I ran out of power.
Yeah, we had to level up. Well, but I got knocked out as well. We had to level ourselves up a bit, make sure we were full of magic power and more leveled up so we could go and take on these higher level baddies. This whole power thing, the magic power thing, is the biggest criticism I'm seeing about it online, and I'm struggling to get it, because to me it's just the same as Pokeballs. They run out too. I don't understand. They run out and you go and pick them up at Pokestops. This stuff runs out and you go and pick it up at inns. To me it's exactly the same. I don't really understand.
I think that's the thing, though. There's a lot of people who haven't. There's a lot of Harry Potter fans who probably never touched Pokemon Go and didn't realise how quickly, if you're rural, you run out of balls really quickly. They've been quite clever with it. I mean, I assumed you were going to have lots of spawns at home as well, because I wondered whether they'd thought about this better. Because from my point of view at the moment, I can see that there's like 7 or 8 things. Well, now there's 2, because a few of them have timed out. I've just looked. There are 8 things when I loaded it a minute ago, and I thought to myself, well, are they trying to then make me think, damn it, alright, I'll spend £2, fill up, catch everything that's here, play a bit,
I think the only reason you're getting them is because you're right next to an inn.
That's probably it. I mean, it hasn't helped me on Pokemon, but it's not the same game, is it?
But in this, what I've noticed is the only place the baddies spawn is next to something else. So you can go and sit, like the centre of town where we are, there's like 4 or 5 inns all together, and a constant stream of confoundables spawning. You could sit there for 3 hours and not run out of power, because you can constantly be doing the inns as quickly as you're catching the stuff around you. So if you put a little bit of thought into where you're playing it, the power thing isn't an issue. It's only going to be an issue if you're wandering about, only catching the confoundables, never doing the inns. I mean, I got one instance where I've run out of power because I didn't really get the game at that point. But since then, I've caught everything I've seen all day, and I've still got 75 out of 85 power, because I'm spinning everything, or doing every inn I see as well.
Does it limit how much power you can hold?
Yeah, it's you have a maximum size.
Oh, yeah, like the bag and Pokemon.
Yeah, bag size stuff, yeah.
So what I was going to ask you, you've answered some of it, because you said to somebody, oh, it's much more of a game than I was expecting, and I was like, is it? It's because I haven't done the fortress, that's why. I was like, I'm a bit confused. What I'm struggling with is the sticker bits you were saying. I thought that was the game, to be honest.
It's not a collecting game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting from it straight away. If you're in it with a Pokemon mindset to collect stuff, I think you'll find it really empty and dull, because I'm not even paying any attention to those screens, really.
I wasn't looking for that, but someone asked me what it was. So, lady at work, I'm a hypocrite really, because lady at work, I was talking to her about it, and I said I don't think I'm going to bother getting it. All the stuff I'd read about it beforehand just made it look really plain. And then she was like, oh, I didn't even know it was coming out, I'll get it now. And so I was like, let me know what it's like. And she said, oh, it looks a bit alright. She showed me it a little bit. And then you text, and because she's on Android, I just assumed it had come out early on Android and was easy to get or whatever. Turned out it was on everything, so I got it, and then I played it for like the rest of the evening, just on and off while I was doing other bits at my house. I mean, I didn't go out, but I come in today and was like, oh yeah, no, I got it as well. But then somebody else there said, what's it like? And I said, well, mostly it seems to be that something pops up, you attack it, and then you get a sticker thing in your book, and you've just got to try and complete them all. And they asked me what happens when you complete them all, and I was like, I just don't know. It looks like you rank up in those areas, and then they're done. And I was like, okay. And then later on, I found a magazine. It's like a newspaper piece. Harry and somebody else, whatever her name is, what's the woman's name? Gwendolyn, something like that. They keep having conversations, which the first time it happened, I skipped them, thinking it was just an alert saying, like, are you sure you want to use this or whatever? But they were having a conversation about somebody setting a spell to try and solve their own murder or something, and it's like there's a murder mystery story to it, is there?
Yeah, the story is I think they're called the London Five, and they disappeared at the same time as this thing that caused I can't remember what it's called, the thing that's made all these baddies appear everywhere. These 5 wizards disappeared as part of it, so as well as trying to put everything back where it's supposed to be, you're also investigating how it happened by picking up bits of the mystery as you go. So that's in the registry bit on your mystery tab, and you're trying to follow that story. So that's the story-based element of it, and there's already gaps in there for them to add new bits of story as the game goes on. But the kind of purpose of the game day to day is leveling your character up as much as you can through the profession lesson things, so that you can then do higher and higher levels of Fortress, because the really rare confoundable stuff you can only get out of fortresses. Just like in Pokemon, you can only get the really good stuff off of good raids.
But what is it? What makes it good stuff? Do you mean just like to complete the stickers, or
the stuff that gives you the best rewards? So it's all it's not necessarily for the purpose of stickers. It's in order to level yourself up, you have to do the top level stuff on that, and to do the top level stuff, you have to level yourself up, and you level yourself up, and it kind of just loops round and round. Well, I'm interrupting that conversation, not because it was going on and on, although those of you like Pab who aren't interested in this game are probably glad it cut off where it did. We did carry on for another 5 minutes, but at that point we realised that my recording had stopped. So you've missed...
I'm gutted, because it was basically me talking, which is probably great for you lot, but I was making loads of really intelligent points, probably the best content I've ever done.
This is our Tenacious D moment. It was the greatest podcast discussion in the world.
Premium Sheepdog.
This is just going to be our tribute to it, because we can't possibly reproduce that level of insightful discussion ever again.
The worst part about it is Kev... So I can't remember what I said. Something about the differences between this and Pokemon Go, and just wondering. I know the main point we made was, wouldn't it be cool? I wonder how long the story is going to last in this. There's a story part to it. I don't think we covered that, where you have to solve a mystery. Harry and the woman are trying to help you solve this murder. I wondered how long the story would last. We said, once you complete it, will Niantic make you wait forever, because they do in Pokemon. But then we pointed out, actually, there's one due in Pokemon in a month or so. Maybe they'll start bouncing between the two, which would be amazing. And then you said, the one thing I want out of this game, the biggest thing, the thing that I really hope happens.
There was a slight lead into it. I said, I don't actually care if it has like a 5-year lifespan or anything like that. I don't need it to be a game that keeps me playing every day forever, because there is just one thing that I want from Harry Potter.
And then it cut out.
Yeah, and then I noticed what was going on. But the one thing that I want is for it to take over the world for a month or for 6 weeks, the way Pokemon Go did, because Anna must be fed up of hearing about it. You lot must be fed up of hearing about it. That summer of Pokemon.
Oh God, again!
I had so much fun. I loved it. I absolutely adored it. And this game, because it's starting 2 years in, basically, with all these additional features in, if that could be reproduced, and it does rely on every single one of you listening to download the game and get your friends to download the game and convince them it's not just Pokemon with a different thing on, give it a try, because that summer we were all kept going with Pokemon, and literally all you could do is catch Pokemon. There was nothing else to it at the time.
It's pretty mad how basic it was then compared
it was
to now.
just catching Pokemon, whereas this, I think back to, and again, everyone who's ever listened to this show before knows what I'm going to refer to. I think back to after MGPX in Nottingham, and we're sat in that beer garden at the Nottingham Castle, and we were there for ages just playing Pokemon, and I think, imagine if this game was there and we weren't just catching stuff, but we were also doing, like, taking it in turns going around the fortresses, and we were constantly doing the inns, and perhaps we plant something in the greenhouse and stay there and watch it grow and all water it together and get the spoils of our own seeds. And, we could genuinely, with a group of half a dozen people, pick a spot, sit there for 8 hours and just play this game if there was enough stuff around us. And And I want to do that, and I want to see pockets of other people all around us doing it, and I want people coming and going and joining us and leaving us throughout there. That's what I want. But it doesn't matter how good the game is. The game being good won't achieve that.
Yeah, it
has to hit that cultural zeitgeist. Everybody has to be, I want to play this because it's cool. And that's why I won't stop talking about it, because I need it to be cool. I need to do that again. I can't have that be the pinnacle of my gaming life, Sheepdog's game. I can't have that being the best moment.
But this isn't your game, is it?
No, but it's not yours either, and that's important to me.
Our football manager... Was I talking to you about the football manager idea, or was I talking at work about this? I was spouting off about how I'd love there to be a Premier League go where you could catch a wild Harry Kane and then level him up to be a level 40 striker and just build a team and then play football against other people out in the street and stuff like that. That'd be the Kev equivalent.
That would be amazing. I'm going to suggest that to Sports Interactive now. I'm
do it.
Down.
I've said it on a podcast as well, so I want half the money you make out of it. I don't mind 50, even though it was my idea and I've fully fleshed it out like that just then. I'm happy to split it 50-50 because I'm a generous man. But I worry that when I brought this up in the office, literally no one knew it was happening. Whereas I remember...
I don't think people knew Pokemon was happening beforehand. I think Pokemon just exploded. I think
people who knew it was happening.
Yeah, we were expecting it and waiting for it, but I don't think it was massive day one. I think it took a week or two for it to really catch fire. And
I don't know. Well, you're probably right, actually.
It has to hit that tipping point.
I remember my lunch break at work, realising it had leaked and sitting in the gents just catching a Charmander and doing stuff, catching whatever the tutorial was. And when I came home, I was just roaming the field. I think I assumed you had to be in fields at this point, and we roamed the field next door and went all around the housing estate catching like Jigglypuff.
Well, this was back when you lived in a tent, wasn't it? So that's why you were in a field.
And that felt a little bit odd because I remember I was basically just at the edge of someone's driveway catching something, and they looked out their window like, what the hell is this guy doing? So I was talking really loudly about Pokemon to make it clear that I was doing something to do with a game, like to the kids, telling them about it. But I remember this being quite quick. It caught lightning quite quick. And
well, where is it in the App Store chart? Has anyone had a look? Is it hitting?
I haven't looked. I got worried when I went on the App Store earlier because I wanted to find out, and I was on apps instead of games, and I was like, it's nowhere. What the hell's going on?
I don't even know how the App Store works anymore. How do you look at the charts on this thing?
On what we're playing, it's the top
tab.
one.
There we go.
Yeah, but on popular games, it doesn't mention it. I don't know which one's the...
Top 3 games, Harry Potter Wizards Unite. So it's number 1 in the iTunes chart. Presumably it's hit the same sort of spot on Android. So,
nope. And
interestingly, on Apple, it's averaging 4.5 stars on nearly 2,000 reviews. Which is mad.
That could be for people like me that I accidentally one-starred it as I was downloading it and was like, no!
No, I'm saying 4.5 stars for a popular game is insane. Normally it would be like 2.5. Football Manager gets like 2.5 stars on the App Store. Even though it's... Actually, it's on 4.7 stars. I've just looked at it. Because
Pokemon's on 4
like
after
5.
this many years and this many bugs. So, I mean, the fact that Pokemon's on 4 out of 5 after that long, it's just... Maybe you're wrong on that. Like, not to...
Maybe.
Because there's some
Pokemon Go's
scathing
number 26 on said charts. So...
I think if you'd have asked me last week whether I thought Wizards Unite would be in the charts in 3 years' time, I'd have absolutely said no. But I think playing it now... I mean, I don't know. 3 years still seems like a tall order for many games to be up there. But I feel like it's better than I gave it credit for being, but I'm also not sure whether I'll be saying that in 6 months. I don't know. I thought Emily would be all over it, and she didn't. She hasn't even installed it yet.
I haven't told you about the maddest thing, by the way. This is a vlog spoiler, so anyone who watches our vlog, just fast forward for 3 minutes. I don't know if you've seen that there are sponsored inns in the game. Me and Anna were walking around the centre of Peterborough today, and there was an inn that it was a different colour and had a flag flying above it. So I clicked on it and I took a screenshot of what it said because I'm a nerd and wanted to be able to tell the story accurately. So I clicked on this inn. It was a blue inn rather than a reddy brown inn. and it said, sponsored by EE. Get 50% off a pop socket from the Hogwarts house of your choice. Simply pop into our real-life EE store. The magic continues on the UK's best network for mobile gaming. And when I went into EE, because obviously I did, firstly, they had no idea about this. They had to go and find a bag of pop sockets out the back that they'd been sent and didn't know what to do with. They couldn't work out how to do discount. They were laughing at me because it was like lunchtime and no one had asked them about this yet. What they did say is you get 3 times the amount of wizard power, magic power stuff by using their in rather than a non-sponsored in.
Oh,
which
wow.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, but because they were taking so long to find my pop socket, we were in there about 20 minutes, and that's probably why I'm full of power now, because I kept eating in their in, munching on their bread. But I have now got on the back of my phone my Hufflepuff pop socket, so I'm fully in uniform when I go out and about. I was saying to Anna, I can now wear my Pokemon Go jacket and have my Hufflepuff pop socket and just switch back and forth between the 2 games and look like the coolest boy in the playground.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want a Harry Potter pop socket, go and hang around outside an EE store, stock up on your magic power, and you just have to show them the app and you get the pop socket for half price.
There's a, we were saying about stories and doing better stories in Go. I've just seen a thing pop up telling me that they're putting in purifying Pokemon. There's a game where, I can't remember exactly the plot, but it's like Pokemon are so unloved by their owners that they become dark, and there's like dark versions of them all, and you have to then purify them with whatever it is you do it with. So I'm guessing they're going to add some more story to it because they've added in the function of purifying a dark Pokemon, which would be quite cool because some of those dark ones look awesome. But it sounds like maybe they've built it all in Harry Potter and then gone, we could use this over here, and it'd be awesome if they start lifting each other up with their new features. Again, I'm quite excited at the prospect of how this will benefit my geekiness.
Well, on that note, me and Anna were saying as well that obviously we've got the Minecraft one coming as well, so you've got these 2 big franchises. You've got Microsoft getting in on the app with Minecraft. Goodness me, do I hope Disney are paying attention to all this. And just bring out a Marvel one.
I don't know how I feel about the Minecraft one though, because it's like you build something and then you walk away from it, you're going to be a little bit gutted, aren't you?
I don't know, it depends how it works, doesn't it?
I'm already worried.
I would like to think that I can build this massive castle on top of my house, and you can choose where you put it, and they stay there until someone knocks it down. Well, I'm here all the time. I'll just build an enormous castle with a moat in my bedroom.
But like, if I don't mind if like day to day I have to go out and mass a load of blocks, and then I get home and I start building. That makes good sense to me. That gives me a game while I'm out and a game while I'm at home, because I'm more likely to be sitting twiddling my thumbs with my phone in my hand at home, whereas when I'm out and about I'm doing stuff. And so I'm a bit like, Pokemon's quite handy because I can nip in the shop, and while I'm there I know the spawns now, so I know I'm at Tesco's, there'll be 6 or 7 things here. I'm a bit worried that going to Tesco's with Harry Potter, there's 30 things outside, I'm going to have to go 15 minutes earlier just to play my game. But the Wi-Fi in there works, and when I went in I carried on playing it at every aisle, so I was just like, I did nearly walk into a few people,
Sounds like you just need to sit in the trolley and have someone push you around.
Well, I'm thinking 7 Pokemon on the way in, all of the Harry Potter stuff on the way round, and then go home and play Minecraft works. But if Minecraft expects me to go to Tesco's and build a fort and then go home,
I don't think you have to build it at Tesco. I think you can build it where you want.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand how it works. Then are we just collecting bits and bobs?
I imagine
is it
going to
be that fun?
Grab. I don't know. Who knows? All I know is when it comes out, I'm going to need a 3rd phone because I can't keep switching between apps. It's too complicated for me.
I've already started saying I wish Niantic would come up with a way to split screen their games. I know on Android you can split screen games quite simply, but Niantic just need to add a way so that I can have all 3 in one thing.
You need to get one of those folding phones, so you've got lots of screen real estate. Or play it on an iPad. Get an iPad with a SIM card and have the 3 of them lined up next to each other on there.
I wish I bloody had one. I took the iPad out to do some raids for Ollie. They have Kyogre raids back this week, and I wanted a shiny for me and a shiny for Ollie. And it's a nightmare trying to get the iPad to sync with GPS via hotspot. And he bloody got a shiny right on like the 6th or 7th one I did in a row. He got a shiny and I didn't, so I was very miffed when I came home.
Splendid.
Yeah.
Anna, do you have anything you want to add about Harry Potter Wizards Unite?
No.
You did say earlier that isn't it nice how the weather turned out nice, like it did for Pokemon.
It did.
How we've had grotty weather for weeks, and they bring out an outdoors game, and suddenly the sun's out again. It's almost as if it was planned. I think Niantic control the weather.
Pab, what would it take to get you on this then?
Nothing. I can't be bothered.
If it becomes a cultural sensation and takes over the world, you're going to play it.
No.
You were involved that night in Nottingham, reluctantly, but you were involved.
Yeah, I think you only installed it then because of peer pressure, but then you're still playing it now. I'm always surprised when I get a gift from you, and I get a gift from you daily on this pretty much.
You don't. I guarantee you don't, because I don't check it every day.
But I think if this is the coolest thing in the universe by the time MGPX rolls around in a month, and we're all playing it all day at MGPX, I think you'll download it that day and get involved in the fun. If you're surrounded by 30 or 40 people all playing it.
Yeah, and then everyone's level 40 and I'm level 1. Yeah,
that's why you should install it today, Pab.
I can't be bothered. It's another thing that I don't want to have to do. It's like
I'm going to set you up
a
an
second
account
job.
And just email you. I'll email you the password on MGPX Day. I'm going to set him up an account and level him up.
You can do that if you want. I'm not playing. I'm not playing this game. Not if I can help it. Game. That's the plan.
Yeah, you won't.
It kind of grates me a little bit that Niantic seem to have done it again, and they're going to make so much money, and it's like they're just constantly making mistakes. They're a very shoddy company behind the scenes. They just keep.
Yeah, it is annoying that nothing happens at home. Like every day on Pokemon, I can guarantee something will turn up. There is nothing.
I would gladly swap spawns, though.
Yeah, I think that's quite cool. The fact that I don't need to worry about that app at all when I'm at home because I know there's going to be nothing here. I only have to think about it when I go out. Whereas I just flicked over to Pokemon Go now, and there was 3 things that turned up, so I caught them. And I think it's with Pokemon Go, it's a lot easier to, which seems to be the opposite of what everyone is saying. I guess it depends where you're playing. With Pokemon Go, it's a lot easier to run out of balls than it is to run out of magic in Harry Potter. But I think that's because I've only been playing this. I drive to places where there's inns and then catch everything there and then drive to the next place that's got inns. So I'm never just catching. Whereas Sheepdog lives in the middle of a monster field by the sounds of it.
Apparently, with no Pokemon, I reckon the monsters have eaten all the Pokemon.
They probably have to chase the Pokemon this way. Should we swap houses?
We might have to.
We could perhaps do like 1 week swapping back and forth between each other's houses. That wouldn't get awkward and annoying.
That would get awkward and annoying.
Just both buy camper vans and just knock our houses down. Knock our houses down, get a Winnebago each, and just drive the whole family back and forth. Problem solved.
And then when the Minecraft game comes out, we could just build new houses.
I like the way you're thinking. Pab, have you played any games this week? Because I feel like Sheepdog's dominated this podcast so far.
Yeah, you've only spent about 40 minutes on a mobile game that you've played for about 2 hours.
I've played it for 2 hours while we've been talking, Pab. I've been playing it constantly. But I did tell you last night to play it so you could join in the discussion, so don't give me that nonsense.
I don't want to play this nonsense. It's the same garbage as Pokemon and the other thing before it.
I will fight you in the face.
It's got a surprising amount of companies involved in it. When you start it up, it says Niantic, Portkey, Warner Brothers, another name that I missed because I wasn't quite ready to start listing names when it popped up. It's like, how many people worked on this bleeding
Warner
game?
Brothers didn't work on it.
Warner Brothers
just given the license.
I think you'll find, Pab, that Warner Brothers have been going absolutely insane about it.
Have they?
If you read all the news about it, they've been really on it. That is my only.
And they
my strongest belief is that their involvement is what's given it that extra bit of oomph. Because they've forced Niantic to do a lot of stuff. Like they went to court with Global Plus Plus, one of the spoofer apps. They've really been forcing them to tidy up some of the flaws in Pokemon that were upsetting people. because they don't want their name and their stuff associated with something that's going to upset folk because people are cheating and stuff like that. So they've had a lot of say in it. So there.
Anyway, I've played some proper games.
I find
Go on then.
very surprising.
Fortnite. I did 25 kills.
Put you in your place there, didn't he, Fab?
Are we done? Are we done?
We'll be the judge of when we're done.
Sorry, sir.
What have I played? Okay.
Brilliant.
Sorry, he's skipping his Fortnite notes now.
Yeah, I'm scribbling stuff out now, furiously. I'm like, pretty much, I've got nothing there.
Just talk about Fortnite.
No, I'm
I
not.
wasn't serious.
I can tell you about Fortnite, the fact that I might be done on Fortnite.
Why?
It's just become a game
into an AR game.
No, it's gone too far for me now. With them updating, iterating week on week out, it's getting further and further away from the game that I first got hooked on.
It's forgotten its roots. It's forgotten the face of its father.
A little bit, Sheepdog, yeah, a little bit, and there are some good things in there, but it's just like I can't be bothered anymore. It's hard enough as it is when just playing the base game when then they've put like these proximity grenade launchers in that they just shoot a grenade and it goes it's like a rocket launch. It shoots it and then as soon as it gets near anyone it blows up and stuff like that. It's just painful. So what I have been going pretty hard on this week has been Apex Legends, because its season 1 has ended, and I suddenly got to the realisation I'm nowhere near the end of this battle pass. So I've been properly going at it, like trying to get move up these levels on the battle pass, and I got to about 97, I think I want to say, out of 100, and then I just bought the rest of the levels because I was like, well, it wasn't expensive, but I wanted the silver gun. Now I didn't get to 110. You have to do another 10 levels on top of 100 to get the gold gun. And I thought, I'm happy with the silver gun. It's fine. It's fine. I can live with that. So I've got a silver gun, and the new season starts July 2nd, and it's going to be great with new characters, new challenge-based battle pass, and much more interesting, shall we say. More reason to do certain things and play certain characters rather than just play the game. What else have I played? You know what I've been playing? I've started playing Minecraft.
Harry Potter.
I've started playing Minecraft.
What, why?
Oh, really? Why?
Is this game going under a full resurgence? Because I've noticed a lot of people playing Minecraft recently. Have they changed something?
No, well,
they have added new animals and items and better stuff underwater. It always gets patches and updates, but it got like a major patch or something.
Relatively recently, yes, it did. I started watching a YouTube series which was doing where it was called like the 102 or something like that, and it was they were doing like just like trying to get all 102 achievements in it. And I kind of watched like 2 or 3 of the videos, and I was like, I could do this. This could be something I could do. So I have started playing Minecraft just to get the achievements.
Isn't like some of them killing the Ender Dragon and stuff?
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
some real. There's one that I heard about today, which is live underwater for 3 days, which requires some sort of enchantment, a sort of thing which requires you to be able to breathe underwater. So yeah, there's a lot to do in it. And apparently, even after these guys started recording this series, the 102, there's been another achievement, and there's now 103. So the series is out of date.
Would it require an enchantment, or could you just build yourself a little hut
there's some
underwater?
sort of thing you need to be able to do it.
Because I'm pretty sure you can. The part of the updates was you can build underwater palaces now.
Maybe that's what it is. You need something to be able to let you breathe water. I don't know. There's something.
I couldn't get it to work. I tried going under there and just building a little mud hut over myself, but the water stayed in it.
Yeah, I don't think that's that. I think there's something in there that you can actually do to
So then I tried to wall it all off and dry it out and build over the water, and then the second I dug back down, it flooded. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. It's like 45 minutes of my life wasted trying to build an underwater palace.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm working through the Minecraft achievements. I did a chunk of them the other day. I'm doing it on Switch, by the way, as well. So I'm getting Microsoft achievement points on the Switch.
Explain. Immediately.
Well, it's a Minecraft game, isn't it?
It's a Minecraft game, and you sign into your Xbox Live account.
So I can get Xbox achievements playing Minecraft on my Switch?
Yes.
Somebody power up my Switch. Anna, go plug it in.
Okay.
I need to do
a few caveats to this. A few things that you need to know to do this beforehand. You have to sign into Xbox Live on the Switch before you start a game. You know when you just close the Switch down, you just turn it off and just come back to it later on. Then I turned it back on and it had logged me out of Xbox Live. I didn't know this. I did a load of achievements and then they weren't popping, and I realised I wasn't signed in. And as far as I'm aware, they haven't popped since. So they don't recognise offline play sort of thing. So I've got to find Diamond again and all these other things that you've got to do in Minecraft, which took some time to do. I've got to do them all again because I wasn't signed into Xbox Live. But yes, it is doable. It's very much a thing you can do. And you can do it on multiple systems. So I've got Minecraft on the PC, Minecraft on the Xbox One, on the Switch, and they all have separate achievement lists, effectively. So you can do it like on each one. So I could play on the PC, get achievement points on there, and then move to Switch, do the same thing, and then do the same on the Xbox One. So I'd have it's over probably closer to 5,000.
I can't find Minecraft on my PC, and I don't know why. Is it not on the Xbox app? I don't understand.
It's on the Minecraft. It's on the Microsoft store, isn't it? I think.
Do I have to go on there? I don't even know how to do that. But we obviously own it because we did a YouTube series on it.
You own it on the Switch, don't you?
I own it on everything. I own this game 10 times.
But I think you don't want the Nintendo edition, whoever it is. You want?
Oh, what? Hang on, I'm confused. So, because I thought you were saying you could just look, because I've got it on a Switch for Ollie, so I can't get achievements.
Yes, there's Minecraft Standard Edition, whatever it's called, the Minecraft Nintendo Edition, and the Minecraft Standard Edition is the actual Microsoft one that lets you connect use multiplayer.
I've got the Nintendo one.
Yeah, you get the other one. You get the other one with it. You just have to do it. It's a separate executable.
That game's handled really confusingly because I've got it twice on the Xbox and evidently now twice on the Switch.
Yeah.
And I've got it on the Mac, which I guess is also a PC version.
And I've just opened up the version that's installed on my PC, and it's telling me to unlock the full game.
Hold on, I saw someone the other day. Someone was playing it on their Xbox. Their kid was playing it on the Xbox, and he was playing on the Switch in his world.
Yes,
that's connects together now.
Yep.
My word! How am I not aware of this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can literally it's cross-platform. The actual the standard version of Minecraft on the Switch plays with everything.
Pab, I feel like you've not kept me up to date very well here.
I'm sorry I've not kept you up to date with Minecraft, a nearly 10-year-old game. Apologies.
Oh, segue opportunity, Pab. I've been playing a game that's 10 years old.
Okay.
I've not finished asking questions about Minecraft.
Okay, you carry on asking questions, and I will. That segue.
I'm killing it. It's dead. I've gone on to because I don't think I got it through the Microsoft Store originally. I think I got it from the Mojang website.
Go back on there.
Does that version work?
It's
telling me to unlock it.
Go back onto Mojang and they'll give you.
Buy it again from Microsoft.
Are you on the Mojang website?
Yeah, it won't let you update it. That was so. What happened? This happened to me, and because I'm a tight-fisted idiot, I didn't do what Kev's about to do. They released a newer version, and I let everybody upgrade for free January last year. I think I learned about this April or May last year. Ignored it for a little while, but Ollie kept saying to me, it keeps telling me to upgrade, and I want to upgrade, why can't I upgrade? And I'd be just like, shut up, play it, it's Minecraft, what on earth could be different? And then realised it was massively different, so I went on the Microsoft chat help and just said to them, you can't give it away for free for ages just because I didn't notice I can't have it. Even though I knew I was in the wrong. And they were like, yeah, all right, here's the code. Here you go, it's sorted. It took about 20 minutes for it to sort out. And
I'm not spending 20 minutes.
No, exactly why I know you won't. But even I was like, I sent them the messages. They were like, yeah, we'll sort it out. And I was like, oh, brilliant, that was easy. And then it just took forever. And I was just like, I really wish I'd just bought it. But, I mean, it was a lot better. It has some sort of like mission-y mode type things to it on the Xbox that it didn't. I guess it has on PC now anyway.
Yes.
They added on mods and stuff like that. I'm glad.
So what you're telling me is MGP Plays is coming back.
We could play it on console together, yeah.
And Pab's going to record and edit it all together for us.
We can call it the 105 Pab.
Yeah, because by the time it's finished editing, there'll be another 2 achievements.
Exactly. See, I'm always thinking ahead. Like when I did that segue 5 minutes ago, boom, I've been playing a game from 2008, I think, this week, excessively. Like, I don't know what I got myself in for. I shot myself in the foot last week after the podcast. We all had a nice little chat and a sing-song and whatever we did after the show. And then I grabbed a beer and I went and sat in the living room. I didn't even put the telly on. I just sat reading Twitter, having a beer, looked up and realised it was 1:30 and thought, better go to bed. And then my son came in at 7:30 in the morning reminding me that I'd promised him if he'd had a good week at school we'd play Spore on Origin. And I really regret promising that we'd get up and do that because he literally meant, I'm awake now, let's go do it. So I got up and we played Spore all Saturday morning. And then I promised we'd play it after lunch Sunday. So I had lunch for breakfast Sunday and we played Spore all Sunday afternoon. And then every day after school this week we played Spore. And that is such an amazing game. Like it needs an update. They need to make Spore 2 with modern mod cons and stuff and like a bit more beef to it. But we started that little game making our little Ollie amoeba, who we made the mistake of making him a meat eater. I feel like that was a fundamental mistake. And he just went around munching on bits of meat and getting bigger and eating other things and learning new little features like, oh, he's got 2 eyes, oh, he's got a sharp mouth now, oh, he's got, gills that make him faster, he can electrocute stuff. And I think we spent all Saturday morning making this little amoeba until the point where he had legs and he was about to leave. We were going to, it's a click here to give it legs. I was like, well, let's draw a line here. We'll spend tomorrow on the beach learning a wander round. So the Sunday afternoon, I hit the button, he popped little legs out, he ran onto the beach with a load of other Ollies, and they all started a little tribe of Ollies. We made friends. I taught him that we did, because I just felt like a monster trying to eat all the locals, so I made friends with everybody before my character starved. This is where it's a fundamental mistake being a carnivore, because you need to eat your locals to stay alive. And so what I was doing was making friends with them, and then when he got hungry I was running home, breeding, laying an egg, and then that egg had until it got hungry to make as many friends as possible. So we ended up going through that phase really quickly, evolving our little Ollie until he had like legs and sharp stuff and all this, that and the other, and he become a prime specimen. I think I added wings right at the end, and then they became a civilization, and that suddenly it became more like a really watered down Age of Empires game, which was again great. I just went and invaded all the local cities with Ollie, and then we got the whole world on our side and became a spacefaring nation, and now we're just flying around the universe, terraforming planets, meeting aliens, trading with them. We can start new civilizations, we can create new life. It's just never ending. Like, you could get lost in that for ages, and this is such an old game, but it's so cool. I don't know why I didn't play this 10 years ago.
Nobody does, Sheepdog.
Have you all played it?
Yeah, 10 years
Spore?
ago.
No.
Yeah. You haven't played Spore?
it?
No, I know about it, but I've never played it. I wasn't into PC gaming when that came out, so...
It's
It was
£3 on Origin.
Have you played the one from...
Well.
Wasn't it the follow-up? Was it Black and White, the one before it? That was awesome
No,
as
I
well.
played Black
where
and
you
White,
had,
yeah.
where you had monsters and stuff.
I think I played Black and White because that was a sequel to Populous or something as well, wasn't it?
So Spore's in that line of games, basically.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. It's just insane how they're all fully contained games. That's the thing that threw me. Why don't more games do that? Just pivot every you could have stayed as a
because
little...
not all games have friend of the show Peter Molyneux involved in their development.
That man's a visionary. I can see why he's Bounce's favourite man or whatever he was. He's an annoying man, really, because when I look back, he's basically been involved in all of the big games that make me feel fuzzy, like other than like Pokemon Go and Final Fantasy and Sonic, and that's probably a very over the top thing to say, but I mean, like PC games, definitely. And it really makes me laugh because I hadn't shown this to Ollie. He brought it to me. He said to me, "I want to play." He kept calling it s'more, and I kept saying that's like a marshmallow thing that Americans cook on campfires. Like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. And then when he showed me it, I realised he was trying to say Spore. And it's just he's so into it. He loves it. He thinks it's the best thing ever, and it's just following exactly the kind of geeky games I was into when I was his age. Like he's into exactly the same kind of games I was when I was 7, SimCity and stuff like that. I can't wait till he's like 15 and playing Final Fantasy games and all of that, because I can just see it happening, and I'm not actually trying to lead him into it. I just think he's stumbling into it on his own, exactly like I did.
I'm too busy putting stuff on Instagram at the moment. I don't know what you're saying. Someone
Why
else.
are you putting things on Instagram?
I'm taking pictures of my pop socket.
Oh, jeez.
You're a bit obsessed with this. Is this the thing that helps you hold your phone?
Yeah.
Because you're weird and can't hold a phone normally. I don't understand.
Loads of people have them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them being on Dragon's Den.
Well,
Okay.
now I've got one, and I'm very proud of it.
But yeah, Spore's awesome, and I didn't get it on Origin. I typed in Spore on Google and then bought it from whatever store. I think it's called Insta Game Codes or something. But it was like $3.50 to get it. So if you've never played it, like Pab, £3.50, mate. You could just sit there and make a little Pab, and you can just make him in your image, and then you can grow him from a little blob, single-celled organism, into a spacefaring species over the course of a couple of days. I think you'd very much enjoy it, and it is a great game, and I really wish it'd make a new... I mean, maybe somebody tell me that they've basically made its spiritual successor, and it's got all the good stuff and more, and it's out now, because that would be
It was
exactly
that box
the kind of
thing.
thing.
That was the next one after Spore, I think.
What's Curiosity Cube?
Yeah, and the thing that came as part of that, what was the actual game called that was connected to
Oh, Jesus, Goddess.
Yeah, that was the next one, I think.
Ugh.
So that's where he jumped the shark.
Bless him. But didn't he, like, flood his whole studio or something?
Yeah, as an excuse for making
I
the
mean, he
game.
basically declared a Scottish man was God, then flooded his own studio and then disappeared into the night, all after appearing on our podcast.
Yeah, we ruined him. We absolutely ruined that man.
I think we were the pinnacle of that man's career. It's literally that happened.
Should we ring him up now? I've still got him on Skype. Should we ring him up and ask him?
Ask
Get
him
him to
what he's
sign
up to.
your copy of Spore.
I must have him on Skype as well. If you have him on Skype, I might bring him up and say to him, Pete, Spore was brilliant. Spore was good. What happened to that, Peter?
Can you bring out Sporer?
Spore harder.
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly. More Spore.
I might just give him a little pep talk.
Wait a minute.
Oh, here we go.
Spore wasn't bloody Peter Molyneux.
Wasn't it?
It was Maxis, the SimCity people.
Was it?
I wonder
thought it
why
was a
you lot were
Molyneux
saying
thing.
that. I couldn't understand.
I just
I was
assumed he
sure
knew.
this was a Peter Molyneux thing.
Nope, developer Maxis.
I'm disappointed now, Kev.
I am as well. No, it is. It's Will Wright and yeah,
Sims.
them like. Well, perhaps I've not. No, I have. I've definitely played this game. So Black and White, was that Peter Molyneux?
Black
or
and
is
White's
that...
Peter Molyneux.
I thought
That was
this the
Lionhead
follow-up to
Studios.
Black and White. They're so similar. How are they not connected?
So many people listening obviously knew that straight away.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I feel mortified because I just was like, well, I don't know. I'll follow.
You said it at first,
wisdom.
and I thought, I'm going to let this go, and I'm going to wait for people to correct
I mean,
it. I'm not going
Pabs,
to say
really,
anything.
this is on you. People will mock me for this. This is absolutely on
I was hoping people would.
When we appointed you to the...
I'm glad you said that before I got Peter Molyneux up on Skype to go, Pete, Spore, what happened to that?
I think your quote was, that's the pinnacle of your career, Pete. Let's ring him up
bloody
anyway.
hell. When you look at their Wikipedia page, the games they mention on there, Black and White is mentioned on it, not because it's by the same people, but just games that are similar to it. But it's also got creatures.
I mean, I've
on
genuinely
there.
gone 10 years thinking that was Peter Molyneux and it was a direct sequel to Black and White. I don't understand how I've got that so wrong.
But do you remember Creatures? Did you ever play that?
Nope.
No.
Jesus, that was like me and my sister spent. I mean, it came out in November 1996, and we spent the next 5 years just religiously playing that, and we were terrible at it.
Wikipedia page.
Creatures is so underrated. Its Wikipedia page is like 6 lines long. That is outrageous. They had this whole manual that explained how this wasn't a game. These creatures were real. These creatures had feelings. They were artificial intelligence. Looking back, like, they clearly weren't. They were just little sprites wandering around. But the idea was you bred them and helped them live, and they could discover technology, and you could help them like get better as and eventually spawn, grow them into the perfect creature. I can't remember what they're called, Norns or something. But you were supposed to be able to like keep hacking their DNA and splicing them with other creatures, and you'd end up with this super duper creature that was like the pinnacle of life. But we were kids and we were stupid, so we just literally used to sit there for like 6 hours a day watching them wander around, wondering what the hell you did with it. They could do a modern version of that. It'd be great with AI.
I'm just checking the edit history on the Spore Wikipedia page to make sure Pab's not trolling me. He's just changed it
No,
himself.
I don't think so.
You don't think you're trading?
No, I didn't
trolling
check.
him?
I basically just typed Spore into
No,
Google.
I
I'm
believe
assuming.
You just turned my entire life on its head, and I'm very confused now.
It's me
Not
going,
talking
no
to
wonder
any of it.
Bouncy thought he was a genius. Yeah, you're a hack, Molyneux. You let us all down.
So, the question now is, what was Molyneux doing while all this was going on? What did he do between Black and White and Goddess? That's a
Curiosity
15-year
cube.
gap now. That's
Curiosity
unaccounted for.
cube. Making 500 layers of cubes.
I'm now trying to have a look to see what he was actually doing for all that time.
God,
Just
Maxis
faffing
really
about.
were trying, weren't they? They made Sim Life in 1992 on the Amiga, where you could get a tiger with a rhino's head and some sort of possum with a pelican's head. I
Right.
need to play that.
I'm leaping on the Segway train now, because if we're talking about games from the 90s, I played a review game 2 weeks ago and haven't talked about it because we did the E3 thing last week.
Oh, yeah.
I was taken back to my childhood. Anyone who watches the vlog or my Football Manager stuff and is used to family friendly Kev, just don't listen to the next 5 minutes, please, because I played the new version of Leisure Suit Larry, which I can't remember what it was. So when you were at work,
called-
I wasn't playing this when you were
Kev,
around.
it's called Wet Dreams Don't Dry.
Yeah, it's Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Don't Dry.
Kevin!
And I played the original Leisure Suit Larry back in the 90s. Specifically, are you going to heckle this whole review?
Yes, I am!
Specifically, I played it one night only. I don't know why my parents allowed it, but I was going on a school trip to Belgium, and we had to be at school at 1 a.m. So, for some reason, I wasn't playing Championship Manager like I normally would be, but I was sat there on the PC in the dining room of my parents' house, there's an archway that leads between the dining room and the living room. My parents were basically in the room when I played through the original Leisure Suit Larry, and I played through it all in one go. and finished it at like 12:30 at night, and then went and got on a bus to get on a ferry with my classmates. I remember it vividly, and it was basically a game. It's a traditional like point and click adventure thing. Although back then it wasn't even point and click; it was one of those adventure games where you type the instructions in. So it would be like, go left, pick up beer glass, like stuff like that. And the general gist was Leisure Suit Larry is a bit of a player. He wears a leisure suit. If you ever hear an American talk about him, he's Leisure Suit Larry, and his main goal in life was to have sex, because despite him having his stylish leisure suit, he's in his early 40s. He's basically the original 40-year-old virgin, and he wants to go and have some Larry time. So he goes through all of these tasks that are all... And it's just total bottom-of-the-barrel potty humour, willy jokes, boobs everywhere.
I find it baffling.
Very pixelated boobs.
When I offered the code up, because I didn't know what this was. I get emails from Koch Media saying, does anyone want to review this game? And I just fire the old message into our Twitter conversation and see if either of you buy it. So I'm mortified that I was probably one of the first people to reply to this fella, because I got the email, messaged you leapt on it.
Yeah,
I'll have it. I went back to him. I got the code well quick from him. He said it's a point and click game, and I was just like, oh,
yeah. I remember the original vividly. I can remember to the point where when I loaded this game up, and I got it on the Switch, and I wish I'd been playing it in handheld mode, because now I've seen, I watched a review of it afterwards, after I'd had my fill, and you can actually do touchscreen moving around, which would be a lot easier than you basically doing it with a controller mode. Presumably this is how it works on the PS4 version. You're moving a cursor around the screen with a controller and then clicking, and it's so clunky and awkward the way that kind of stuff always is. You need to be playing it with a mouse or a touchscreen. But I remember the original one so vividly, and it must have been like 1996 I played that. It's a long time ago. But the bar is the same bar. The toilet is in the same place.
While you were perving over that, I was watching Creatures.
The side door that leads to the prostitute who lives upstairs is still there. Everything is still in the same place. But rather than it being more sleazy nonsense like it was way back then, it still has the jokes, but it's actually turned itself into something that it's laughing at itself. It knows what it is. It knows what it was, and it's actually got some quite funny moments, because what it's effectively done is taken Leisure Suit Larry off of the 90s, off of that game that I played, and he's been abducted by aliens and reappeared in 2019. It's the same town but in the future, but he's still the same old 40-year-old Larry who thinks it's 1988 or whatever he thinks it is, and he's just wandering around, proper fish out of water. Has to go to the Apple store the general gist of the story is he goes to the pub because he always goes to this bar. He tries to chat up a girl, but his chat up lines aren't working because all she wants to do is look at her glowing box that's in her hand, i.e. her phone. Larry tries to buy her a drink. He downs it, ends up feeling ill, goes to the toilet, and in the floor of the bathroom there's a pool of vomit, and there's a glowing box inside the pool of vomit that has a Siri kind of AI thing that says it needs to be returned to the Apple store, or the Plum store it's called, or something. It's obviously the Apple store, though. You go back to this Apple store, you end up giving this phone back to the owner of the company, who is Bill Jobs, or BJ for short. This is what we're working with here. Bill Jobs, aka BJ. And he's got a beautiful assistant that Larry immediately falls in love with, but she won't go on a date with Larry until he can get a score of 96 or above on Tinder, or whatever their version of Tinder is called. So rather than it being a quest for Larry to lose his virginity like the original game was, it's a quest for Larry to get as many positive points as he can on Tinder so he can get a date with this woman who's BJ's assistant. And that then becomes the game. It's a collectathon grabbing every item that moves, combining items into ridiculous combinations of other items. To get the phone out of the pool of sick, I had to get a toilet roll and attach it to the end of a broom. And the toilet roll and the broom weren't in the room where the sick was. And in the end, it wasn't... The actual story and the silliness of the game I was quite enjoying, but I just got to the point where it was such trial and error to actually do the puzzles. I just got bored of trial and error because my inventory got so big. I had like 30 things in my inventory, and it was literally trying random combinations of these things with random items in the game to try and get stuff to happen. But he got a couple of dates lined up and had a bit of a travel around town, travelling around by Uber now rather than in taxis, and it's quite a clever way of taking a game that gentlemen of a certain age will vividly remember and bringing it forward and just kind of laughing at us and laughing at themselves, and it's quite cleverly done. But unfortunately the game underpinning it all is absolute bobbins, so I stopped playing it after about an hour and a half. But if you like point and click stuff and trial and error randomness, it's actually quite funny, even to the point where when you first turn it on, in order to check your age, it doesn't ask you to put your date of birth in or prove your age or anything. It just asks you trivia questions from the 90s, and it's obscure trivia questions. It took me 3 goes to get the answers to the questions right, and it's like song titles and pop culture references from the 90s that only people who are in their 30s are going to know, and that's its way of checking you're old enough to play the game. And it's the humour of it is really cool. The picture above the bar in the original one, because it was so pixelated, there was a naked lady poster above the main bar, and this one's obviously all modern graphics apart from the picture behind the bar, which is the same pixelated naked lady behind the bar that there always was, so it keeps it pixelated. It has its little moments of just clever humour, but it is just spoilt by the fact the game is absolutely awful, just awful, and it's such a shame, so I wanted to enjoy it, but
I bet you did, you pervert.
Yeah, I'm ashamed
exactly.
to know, Kevin. Literally ashamed.
I'm pretty sure all the dirtiest games that I'm aware of, I know, like Catherine and that other one, Lollipop Chainsaw Lollipop.
That was Anna. That was all Anna.
Yeah, but I only wanted to play because it was a chainsaw, and
she's not the one who made me come round her house and look up the girl's skirt. Kev.
Look, I got assaulted by zombie cheerleaders at Comic-Con that year. I was traumatised. I did complain.
No, you didn't.
It made me jump. I was trying to play a demo and all of a sudden there's zombie cheerleaders rubbing themselves against me. That's why I don't play games at Comic-Con anymore.
Going through those notes for Spore on Wikipedia, I came across this hilarious section where it talks about Spore's scientific accuracy and how outraged the science community were because it implied that evolution just allowed you to pluck jaws and eyeballs and stuff out of thin air and hatch with them, and that it thought kids might learn that that's how animals changed over millennia. Just as an aside, it's just fascinating reading the genuine outrage some morons were having over this game. That's probably why there's not a Spore 2. It says that environments shape them. They don't just decide to grow longer arms because they want to, or it's like, alright, idiot.
You should get those scientists to try playing Leisure Suit Larry.
See what they think. They gave it an A for scientific exploration of space and a B+ for social engineering, but an F for evolution.
Splendid. Well, that's my games complete. One other piece of news: anyone who's tried the new Xbox Games Pass for PC, there's a section on there where you can hit a button called Surprise Me, where it finds you a game to play that you might never have played before.
Really?
Yeah, I hit Surprise Me just to see what it recommended. Football Manager 2019. Yeah. So feel free to go and surprise yourself.
Interesting.
That's me. That's me done. Anyone else played anything?
Nope.
I think we're done.
Right, well in that case, boys and girls, don't forget, MGPX is fast approaching. We now have the lanyards. They have arrived. They look beautiful. I think I put a picture of them on Twitter earlier in the week, so if you want to see them, you can go and see them on there. But we'll keep... I mean, if anyone's still listening now, MGPX is perfect for you. If you can put up with the hour and a half you've just had, you'll love MGPX.
I've got prizes now.
Oh, Sheepdog's got prizes. But it's on
Saturday. Got back.
Don't we tell them when the goddamn event is, Sheepdog, for goodness sake. It's on Saturday the 20th of July at the Brewery Tap in Peterborough. It is pay what you want. You can just turn up on the day, give us as much money as you think the event is worth, and then every £1 you spend on tickets also gets you entry into the famous MGPX raffle, of which Sheepdog has now procured many prizes.
Yeah.
Many a fair word to use there.
It is. It's not just Sports Interactive. A comic shop local to us and some other companies have said they'll chip in. So, quite excited.
Excellent.
I just need to keep track of them all now.
Marvellous prizes on the day. Hopefully we'll see lots of you there, and we can all go and play Harry Potter as well with Pab, and he'll love it. Yeah. Right. Twitter is at MGUK Podcast, or I am at Lelujo.
And I'm at RB6K.
I'm at Mr. Lujo.
And I'm at Pab 1986.
And that, I think that's your lot. I can't remember how I had this show.
I think you say, and that concludes this instalment of MGP.
I'm absolutely certain I don't say that.
Good night and God bless Seattle. We love you.
See you next week, boys and girls.
Bye-bye.
Have a good week.
Thanks for listening, folks.
I'm being chased by a pig, Kevin. It's not funny.
Leave that in, Pab.